Yeah. It is time to throw it out there. Let me know when you got me, Matt.
All right.
More if you got me, Matt. Steve, I know you got me.
I don't have live yet.
Oh, yes, we do, Steve. Be a little optimistic when you say that, Steve. I don't see the stream yet.
Oh, sorry, I don't see the stream yet. Oh, there we go. All right, I got you, and audio.
All righty, well, it's time to kick off this ball game and go to the man, the myth, the legend himself, Matt Burke. And of course, I was talking about Mitch Axelson.
Yeah.
Getting down with the get bad. But we're not going to disturb him today. Justin, what's going on? It's Thursday.
It is Throw It Out There Thursday, you guys. So that means we can touch on every question that you might have, whether it's on the subject or not. But we're going to leave Mitch to his work because we got some stuff that we're tuning a little custom here, changing up some X3 setups, pretty much like we always do, just trying to update everything. And he's got his hands full, so he can't be behind the camera today. Sorry about that, Mitch.
Okay, sorry guys.
But you know what? Who we do have? We have Mr. Matt. Oh, there's Steve too. Steve wished was thinking we introduced him first, but we got Steve, Two Sock Steve, and Shock Doc Matt, of course. So you guys throw your questions out to those boys, and we'll get all of them. That's for sure.
Matt is on Facebook, and Steve is on Instagram for everyone who wants to know.
All right, there you go. So.
Never said that before.
Yeah, that's a new one. First time. But today, Throw It Out There Thursday, you guys. Let's hear what you got to say, and we'll try and answer all your questions. But what we're going to cover in the meantime, try and fill some time, is talk about IQS on a brand new model of car. So up until this moment, we pretty much have not marketed IQS in any way other than on Can-Am X3s. But we've got a whole slew of new models that are going to be available with IQS. And if you take a look right behind you, Chase, you will be looking at a turbo RZR equipped with IQS. That means that you guys that have Polaris products of any kind, as long as you've got a Fox shock on there that's a 2.5-inch diameter or larger with a dual compression adjuster, hopefully, we can get you set up with IQS. That means that you, in your Polaris, could have electronic adjustments on the fly from the inside the car while you're driving. So if you're gonna cruise around up in the mountains, you could leave the suspension all the way soft. If you're gonna get busy in the dunes, then you can turn it all the way up. If you're running by yourself, you can leave it all the way soft. If you are gonna throw a full load of people in your 4-seater, you can turn it all the way up. You now have the adjustability to turn this up on the fly, this easy, on the dash, boom, all the way soft. In a middle position, all the way firm, and it's that fast. So if you guys see something big coming, and you're all the way soft, and you don't want to bottom the car out, bam, all the way stiff. Save the car, save your back, go all the way back to soft immediately. It's that quick and that fast. The way this system works is we've got electronic adjusters. So this adjuster replaces the original or factory dual compression adjuster. I'll show you one of these on an RC2. So this adjuster you guys are super familiar with. On any of the Fox shocks, you're going to see that stuff unless it's already a Dynamics. This adjuster is replaced with that electronic one in an IQS. And you can see on this shock on the car, that electronic unit replaces that dual compression adjuster, so you can adjust it on the fly. Now IQS typically is a little bit softer and all the way in the soft position, and it's a little bit stiffer all the way in the stiff position than the original dual compression adjuster is. Got anything, Steve?
I've got from Whack Razor. He says, "Oi, I have a question. I'm from Australia. We race razors. In an older video you told us that you turn around drive shafts after a certain mileage. Can you explain why? Cheers, legend."
That's a pretty good one, Steve. I like that one. So here's what we meant by axle flipping. So what you can never do is take an axle that's been twisted in one direction and turn it around and twist it in the opposite direction. Once axles are run, they will take a set with the loaded twist direction only in that one direction. If you spin it backwards, it will snap that axle instantly. But what you can do is keep the axles in the same position so they're always rotating the right direction, but you can take the CV, star, cage, and outer, and you can flip it around so that the loaded side of the CV, where the ball is pushing against the inside of the star, or the surface of the inside star, and where it's touching the surface of the outer portion of the CV, is what used to be the deceleration side of the CV. So, as long as you keep the axles in the same spot, you can take CVs and flip their direction around and run them for another, whatever it might be, 500,000 or more miles, until that horsepower side of the CV sees pitting or any other damage, and you can throw them away after that. But for us, we run race axle complete sets for 1,000 miles pretty much without touching them, race miles. And then we take the CVs, flip them around, keeping the axle in the same spot, and we run the decel side for another 1,000 miles, and then we get rid of them. That's usually our cycle time, so hopefully that answers your question.
Brandon Jenkins 716, what's up, guys? Keep the videos rolling. They are great.
Right on, Brandon. Thanks for tuning in.
I try, Brandon. It's no big deal.
I actually got a chance to meet a really cool customer yesterday. His name is Rodney, last name, Steve?
Leach.
Rodney Leach. Mr. Leach is quite a character, and he came in here challenging just about everybody in the shop, and he actually challenged us to a race. So we are going to make that happen for Rodney. He's got an X3. He's going to come back into town sometime when it's nice and cool, at least not as hot. But I'll do my best Rodney impression. Rodney. It's a race, brother. That's Rodney.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
It was good to meet him. Anyway, subject change. Sorry about that.
You still haven't taken me up on my bicycle race, Justin. I'm gonna take you.
Did you get your bike back, or is it still stolen?
I thoroughly inspected it. No scratches on the bike. We're all good.
Did you call 911 and they tell you had to wait 24 hours before you can report your bike stolen?
All I know is I still got my fireworks, okay?
It's a missing spoke report. Just came up with that.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
But they said no purple people eaters. We don't classify them as people. Sorry.
Luckily, it wasn't their color.
Yeah. Well.
KC Maltez, are you guys going to be doing installations in Glamis for Turkey Day? Gobble gobble.
Yes. So the 4 majors in Glamis, we're going to be doing Halloween, Thanksgiving, New Year's, and Presidents. We will be there those weekends. Unfortunately, we're not taking booked appointments for the first one in Thanksgiving yet. The reason is that we're not sure about the requirements for California in vendors when it comes to social distancing and other COVID-related things. So when they give us those regulations, then we'll be able to tell you exactly the dates, and we'll start booking that stuff. But basically, about 30 days before, whatever it is, October 25th, something around there, we'll be booking because we'll have all the information. Okay, so hang tight.
I got a question from El Bom on Humano. It says, do X3s overheat in desert racing with stock radiators? If so, what do you recommend for a fix?
So a good question on the overheating. While Chase is showing you the installation of this compression or shock setting on the IQS inside of a Polaris. Yeah, you cannot run a factory radiator on any manufacturer's car in off-road desert racing. They're not big enough for the stresses. Couple reasons. 1, it's always hot. 2, you're always floored. 3, usually the engine's flashed, you got more power and you got more heat. Also, you're trying to deal with other heat-related things like oil temps, trans temps, belt temps, and you're always combating all of those. So you need a whole lot more radiator, you need a whole lot more fan for desert racing if you're going to get serious about it. If you're just a weekend warrior, then go for it. But if you're actually going to enter something, you need to be buying a big radiator.
I do want to remind anyone that wants to go live with us on Instagram that I'm trying to give away some t-shirts. So make sure, if you're daring enough, to flip and send it. We got some.
Hold on, Chase. We got some dudes on here. Jeff Wilson wants to know, did you cry? Yes, Chase cried like a little baby about his bike.
Yes, he did. I think so. He didn't actually call me, but I think I heard he called every single person on the team when he finally found out his bike was missing.
Took him 5 hours to figure it out.
Bitched them all out, and there was some crying. I'm pretty sure, right, Chase?
I will say I didn't even realize that it was missing until I tried to unload it later that night at my house to ride it. And so yeah, I generally thought it got stolen. With that being said, Cliff Schreiner is trying to go live with us. Cliff, I'm trying to get you a t-shirt, man.
Hey,
hold on.
Chase,
Yes.
He wasn't signed on, was he?
Oh, he is now.
And yet you called him out and said, let's go live, and he's not there.
Cliff, what's going on, brother? Where are you at? What are you driving, and what's your question?
So, I'm from Vegas. I've got a Can-Am X3 Maverick Max, the RS version. My question is, I've got about 1,000 miles on it right now, and I've done the Fox tune on it twice. My ride height is set correctly, around 16 inches, but it's just riding rough. And it's clacking like everything. So my question is, how do I fix the clacking? And would a spring set help me out?
So yes, the spring set will help you out, and that would be my recommendation to help you with your issues. Typically the factory spring, even after you put the Fox tune into it for ride heights, is continually going to be settling. And as the spring starts to lose rate and you start to chase that ride height by raising it up over and over, then it starts to ride really bad. So spring will cure that. You're going to maintain ride height. It's going to maintain the ride quality without changing. After you've done the spring, there's a lot of other things you can do, like get inside that shock and really make it amazing. But without going into those details, you need to do a spring kit. That should cure most of all the issues you just mentioned. It certainly is going to cure the ride height, and the ride quality is going to get better by 40–50%.
Nice. So my next question, do you guys have any openings next month? Because I'll drive down there and get it done.
Yes, we do. So usually we're about 3 to 4 weeks out on our bookings. Don't hold me to that. You need to call the shop at 623-217-4959. Talk to Milo, JT, Mike, Emilio. You got 5 or 6 people that you're gonna be able to talk to up in the front, and they can give you all of the open scheduled dates, and you can take your pick. Also, since you're driving in from Vegas on your appointment date, if you can get here in the morning, we'll have you done first so you can go home by noon.
Yep.
Noon, 1 o'clock, you can start driving back to Vegas.
Sounds like a plan.
Awesome, man. Give us a t-shirt size and color so we can get you hooked up before you get your car here.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks, man. Have a good one.
Good one.
What do you got, Matt?
Michael Lewis wants to know, if I wanted a trailing arm set up for my 17 Maverick 1000R, am I screwed?
Yes. Yes, you are. I mean, anything's possible, but you're going to spend more money than the car's worth. So, I mean, the answer is yeah, you can do whatever you want, but the reality is it's just not worth it.
I got G_dub. What is your opinion on electronic sway bar disconnects? Does he mean links by that?
So electronic sway bar disconnects, like say for instance, Chrysler's version, or like for a Jeep, would be a 2-piece sway bar. And that's nice. It's great, especially for rock crawling and independent wheel travel, and being basically all rock crawling styles of stuff. That's great. I think it's also actually something that should come into UTVs as well, so that you can run fast forest roads where you need to have some body roll control, and then you get into rocks where you don't want it. There's a lot of things coming out. I'll cut us off there, but there's some links and other things that are coming out from us and Fox that will allow you to adjust that in the future.
We got Christopher Cochran on the live there.
Hi, Chris.
He's actually there. He's actually there.
Wow,
What's going
Chase,
on,
good
brother?
job, buddy.
Where are you at? What are you driving, and what's your question?
So I currently have a Raptor 660R, and I'm looking at getting it side by side for the next year. So I come from trail riding, mostly East Coast, like Capitol McCoy, and then private property. So I watched basically your suspension video, like the trailing arm kinematics, and then you guys constantly, I guess, don't necessarily like the YXC 1000 suspension. My question is, technically it's not a trailing arm suspension, it's a dual A-arm, so it doesn't have a changing instantaneous center like you were talking about with trailing arms. So why are you not able to tune out the bucking?
So even though it's a dual A-arm, it does have instant center changes, and what you have to consider with that is, if you're looking at the car from the side, where the line of force is going has to do with the imaginary line that you draw through that lower control arm pivot point. So if you drew it up on a board and then had that lower arm imaginary line extend forward, okay, and then connect the bottom of the tire to that front pivot, from the side of the car, it acts exactly the same as a trailing arm. and that's the thing that you're fighting. Now, it doesn't have to be a trailing arm to have these properties. It can absolutely do it with an A-arm, and A-arms do it. It just depends on how those A-arms, when they're pivoting this way, if the upper's angled this way, or if the upper's angled this way, determines on where that line of force, or at least the point of force is. Ultimately, though, the YXZ is the hardest to make work in whoops. So if you're going to be in whoops a lot, then it wouldn't be my recommendation. You're not going to make it amazing. You can cheat, though, like I said in that video, and you can hang a whole lot of weight off the back of the car, and it makes it a ton better. The Honda is very similar, and we've been able to make Hondas work really well by hanging a lot of weight off the back, like a tire off the rear bumper and some more stuff in the bed. So you do have an option. If you're sold on the YXZ, you can make it work decent. But if you're going to live in the whoops, it's just not the car to buy. If you're going to be, trail on the East Coast, that's a whole nother story. It might be a really good car. It's nimble and good for turning.
I like that it was a little lower and a little bit tighter, more compact compared to some of the other cars.
Well, you can lower any car, just so you know, but then the overall design, that's another thing. On the East Coast, how much are you really running as far as whoops for, a long period of time?
Not a lot.
So then, then really the negative in a YXZ may not be a big deal to you. So I think if I was you, I'd just hang a lot of weight off the back of it and go for it.
Do you guys have any recommendations on suspension design books or anything like resources that you go off of?
Yes. I don't have the title memorized, but if you want to, when we post this video on YouTube, then go on there and comment, and I will send you the title to 2 different books that are great. They're going to be mostly road race mentality based. So you need to ignore things like instant center and roll center. That's not going to apply because you have no traction in off-road for a corner. But everything else, all those other principles are going to, and it's going to give you a really good base to go for them.
All right, thank you.
Hey, give us a shirt size and a color, bud. We'll send it to you.
All right, thank you.
We got there, Steve. You got another character?
I got a question from Mr. Sparkles1. What brand do you recommend for tie-down straps?
We recommend PRP, which also owns Speedstrap. So Speedstrap PRP. You can't go wrong. They make some amazing stuff. They support our team. We love everything they do. So that's what I would do.
Mr. Sparkles is Jim Klein. Tell him I said hello.
Jim Klein. Oh, well. Mitch says hi, Jim Klein.
And he gets Mr. Sparkles from The Simpsons.
How about that belt buckle?
Oh, yeah, look at that. Check that out, dude.
Check that out.
What's up to Gina?
That's called official right there, son.
Hey, Chase. Keep
You're
your
not,
chin-
you're
keep your
used
chin
to
out of
that
the way.
position.
This thing's nice.
What do you got, Matt?
Jocelyn Anderson wants to know, is IQS available for the XX? Also, is it best with the ride improvement system and stage 3 setup?
So IQS is available for the Wildcat XX. We do have that system, especially if you drop the car off and we can install it for you. I think there's a bus bar for that, right, Mitch? The power system, there's a bus bar for the Wildcat.
It's still in the works for that, but we're going to have the XX, the Honda, and the
KRX.
Howie.
Yeah, so we have done the Wildcat, but in order for us to sell it to you so you can install it yourself, we've got some power blocks and bus bars and a little bit of wire loom extension so that we can sell it. It's going to be a couple of weeks before that's sellable, but if you brought the car here, we could absolutely put it in. Now, IQS is simply going to make whatever your shocks are doing currently adjustable. It's not going to make it right amazing. It just makes it so you can adjust it as you're driving along. So to answer your second question, if you couple IQS with a spring kit and internals, then the car rides amazing because of the spring kit and internals, and you can adjust it as you go, which is the best of all worlds. So hopefully that answers your question. While we're over here, here's a KRX. KRX, which has bypass internal Fox bypass shocks on it, and we are done testing. These are going to be available for this car in the next few weeks. Also, we have IQS on this car, not on these shocks at the moment, but we've got a full kit for it. Matter of fact, you can probably see the adjuster inside this KRX ready to go. Also, we have the Honda, which I don't see here, but it's floating around probably outside. In the Honda, we actually have Internal bypass shocks for that, and IQS as well for the Honda.
Green_machine XC900. Can we see the green ace? I believe they're talking about that one in the corner.
Yes, let's go take a look at that, Chase.
I could show him a green ace.
We're not talking about, your private parts, Chase.
Ah, look at this thing. Ooh, Justin, I didn't know you got me a new car.
Well, this one is a lot like your private parts, small and compact.
Good and nimble.
And
Not the size, it's how you use it, Justin.
Is it gangrene or is it
thimble?
just green?
Small but mighty.
That's right. What do you got, Matt?
Let's see. Do you know if we can run an aftermarket cage with bump seats, or would the roof have to be too low for the kids' heads?
On what?
Didn't say.
Run an aftermarket cage? Well, I kind of need to know which car we're talking about.
Yes.
So, yeah, give me a model.
Yes. Will IQS be for the new Polaris General? Now, I think that has walkers, so no, unless it's a Fox, right?
So the answer is no on the new Polaris General, which we happen to have one over here, of course. These are equipped with walkers, and we currently don't have IQS for any walker package, but we are going to have Fox RC2s available for the long travel General. And when we do Fox RC2s, then yes, we will have IQS options for that. And that's actually what's going on this car in about a week. So we finished tuning on that, and you guys will have it available.
Steve-O Knievel.
Justin with the roast!
He wanted to tell you to go home and make a roast, Justin. And then Steve.
How'd that roast taste,
Steve,
Chase?
your mom wanted me to tell you to say hi. She wanted me to do this, I think. So whatever this means.
Your mom was watching.
That's
the
my
belt
wife.
buckle
Why do you
scene.
always get my wife and my mom?
Oh, so your wife wanted me to go, oh.
Hi, babe.
Because it says mom on it, and I'm just reading. I'm only a simple folk, okay?
This guy can't read.
Yeah, I know. You can't trust Chase to try and do video and read at the same time.
It's like
I've
juggling.
never even
I can't
seen
do
him
it.
chew gum and walk. I honestly haven't.
I don't chew gum.
So
That's why you don't, huh? Because you fall over.
Yeah.
Archard14 says, when does the Honda electronic valving come out? We already have that for the 4-seat Talon.
We do.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's already out, sir.
4-seat Talon with live valve. We've got full internals, spring kit, and everything.
My wife said no chase.
No chase.
Hashtag no chase.
Exactly. And Matt, you got anything cool? Hey, if you guys are, going to chill out on questions, I'm just going to go back to work. We don't have to talk all day. There's no reason for 30 or 40-minute videos. We can cut it short. What do we got working on over here? Let's see what the guys are doing today.
We got IQS on the DS.
Well, Can-Am DS. So this is a narrower option you guys obviously know about. But we can do IQS on this one too. There's a set. And we've got spring and internals and a whole bunch of other options going on this car, like rear sway bar, links, and possibly some radius rods or other things. There's all kinds of things we can do to these.
I've got a question from Matt Formont. He goes, for a 2018 XP4 Turbo, if I go with the Fox RC2, can you do a piggyback reservoir for the rear?
The answer is no on the piggyback for that car, because the only RC2 option for that in that exact length is going to be a remote resi. I was trying to think of options where we could, do a different bridge and kind of create our own shock. It's kind of a pain in the butt.
By the time you did it might not even be, it's going to be expensive.
By the time we buy other bridges and do all the work, it's probably not going to be worth it. You're going to spend a lot more money. But if you have to have a piggyback, we could probably make it work. You're just going to be spending a lot. So the answer in standard money, no. You're going to have remote resi.
I got a question on Instagram from Matty Boy here.
What's up?
Oregon, are we going UTV takeover October?
We are not.
Come on, man.
No, that was very.
Not in Oregon.
No, not in
because
Oregon.
we have a race.
Oh, that's
So we will be attending Oklahoma and Utah this year. Next year, stay tuned. We'll probably do the whole gamut.
Yeah, there we go. You got there, Steve. You got another character you can whip out of your pocket?
Maybe.
Your Aussie was pretty on.
Thank you. I tried, but I don't have any other people.
You're channeling your
what's his name? Hogan, right? No, Steve Irwin.
Steve Irwin. Yeah.
I was thinking Crocodile Dundee.
Oh,
What's his
gotcha.
name?
Shrimp on the Barbie.
Yeah, Shrimp on the Barbie.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to build tie rods for the Turbo S?
Good question. Yes.
That is from Terry F7777.
Yes, as a matter of fact, we are in the middle of designing all of those. We've got all of the spindle pins, I should say, the outside pin designed, and tie rods are coming shortly. Give us just a couple of weeks. We plan on tie rod kits for every UTV. Turbo S is first.
I do have another one. John Mayo 74. Do we have to bring the shocks to you to install the IQS, or is it something a guy can do at home?
We would suggest that we install it. Then you're going to get all of the warranty with everything. If you install it yourself, there is none. So I'd suggest mailing them to us, let us install all of it. We can send them back with the adjusters in it, and you guys can install the loom and the ECU and everything in your car, no problem, and we have instructions for that. Not only for the Can-Ams, but now for the Polarises, and soon we'll have all the instructions done for KRX, Honda, and the rest.
Very important question from our boy STR Tuning for Matt. Who's all coming to the Utah takeover? Is that you and I, Matty boy?
I know Savino's going right now. I have to look dates because I thought there was a race around there.
Yeah, if there's not a race, I will definitely go. And I'll probably talk Ernie into it, and I bet you Mitch will go too. So at least that many, we'll find out. We haven't done a roll call yet.
I got a live one. El Bomb on Humano. What's going on, brother? You're probably going to be our last live one of the day. Where are you at? What's your question? And what are you driving? You there, brother?
I'm on my way to Mammoth right now with my Can-Am.
It's gonna be hot, probably 115 today.
We can hear you.
My question is, do you guys run an external oil cooler on the race car?
Yeah, we just did one for this last race. Since Vegas to Reno starts around noon, it was 110 degrees when we started the race, and it's mostly silt. And then it goes up in altitude, which means you don't have even less cooling capacity. We had an oil cooler on the car for that race. We haven't until then, but it does help a lot because we can see some oil temps about 280, and it's not good.
Okay. I mean, for your average guy, you recommend one, or what? Maybe just run a bigger radiator first.
Yeah, I don't know that I would put an oil cooler on a play car right away. I think a bigger radiator is more important. I think that typically the Can-Am is under radiator before it's under oil cooled, if that makes sense. So bigger radiator first, then if you still have issues, then I do an oil cooler.
You get that, brother?
Okay.
Hey, man, make sure you send us your shirt size, your name and address in the direct messages. We're going to send you a shirt. That way it's waiting for you when you get back home.
Hey, Steve, would you tickle him? Check his oil real quick.
Yeah.
Before you do that, we just had a brand new name come up for the Shock Dog.
Shock dog to Oregon.
Have you ever? Hey, Shock Dog, you got any shocks? You got a bounty today?
Oh, dog, the shock hunter?
He's
dog.
He's
Halloween. Halloween.
There's my costume.
There you go.
Muscle suit, that'd be amazing.
It'd be hot.
Yeah.
Steve, what do you got?
I've
Throw
got
something out there, man.
so from
Steve, it really doesn't matter what you got because I got a live one.
I guess he's got a live
connected.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on, brother? I said I was on my last live one, but I lied to myself. Where are you at? What are you driving? And what's your question?
Here's your chance to ask Steve.
Yeah.
I'm in Illinois. I'm driving an XP 1K. My question is, I run a Power Vision 3 tuner on it, and it's stock. On the website, they say to run an exhaust or an aftermarket intake. What are they talking about on an aftermarket intake? Are they talking about just a freer flowing air filter, or is there an intake box that you bolt up that would give me more horsepower?
Talking more aftermarket air filter.
It's mostly air filter and air filter box that they're talking about. They're definitely not talking about a complete plenum, like, you know, the intake section after the throttle body connecting to the head. They're not talking about that. It's all prior to the throttle body. So air cleaner box, air cleaner tubing. That's what they're talking about. And on exhaust, they specifically are talking about no catalytic converter. So any exhaust with no cat is what they're talking about there.
Okay, I did end up going to 32-inch Roxanne SRs on here. It really killed my top end. And when I get up to top speed, I am really racking out the RPMs. What do you suggest for a clutch kit? Who would you recommend?
We are fans of DynoJet. They've got a lot of clutch kits that can help you with tire sizes and fix all of your RPM and bogging issues. So that would be our first go-to.
Okay, thanks guys.
You got it, man. Thanks for signing in. Give us a shirt, size and color, and we'll find out if Chase can do his job and mail it to you.
Enjoy that weather where you're at, man. It looks great.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Awesome, man. Have a good one.
So Justin, this is no specific question. I'm just gonna. So about 4 or 5 people on the feed have asked about their Walker Evans shocks being compatible eventually with IQS. Is that something that we are gonna do in the future? Is make that compatible?
So yes, we are working on that, but I will tell you that it's not something that's going to happen in just a couple of months. There's a lot involved in flow rates and also a lot involved in the billet components we have to make to allow that system to work with the bridge of a walker. It might even require new bridge on a walker, which is the whole top cap and reservoir mount. But we are working on it, so it's something that'll happen in the future, maybe less than a year and probably more than 6 months.
Parker Sports Center, keep up the great videos, and Chase is on fire. One of those sentences.
That is not what he said at all.
From that statement.
Yeah, was that a translation?
Yeah, that was translated way too far.
What do you got, Matt?
Jerry Hall wants to know, in a race, is it better to go flat out or is it better to take a pace so you won't break something?
Oh man, you can answer that.
Skinny pedal all day long.
So that's
Non-stop skinny.
Yeah, so
Balls to the wall.
man. Okay, it's fun to say go floored, but very few people can do that because they've got a very expensive car with great parts to put up with that.
So also depending on
So,
course.
It also does depend on the course. You got something like in Baja, there's no way that you can go 100% pin in Baja. The land, Baja itself will destroy the car if that's what you do.
Laughlin?
In Best in the Desert though, you go to Laughlin, almost the whole course is graded and man-made. It's not horrible until you get about 50 laps of cars on it.
Yes.
So on that one, you go 100% pinned. Short answer, you do both, depending on where you are. But I will tell you that if you do not have a lot of money in your car, you can't afford to go pinned all the time.
Ages, send Shock Dog to Oregon, and I'll show him a good old time.
Whoa.
You're a bad dog. You won't get beat.
Sounds like you're getting hit on, Matt.
Okay, so there's a couple ones on here that are pretty funny. Gracey J said the only time Chase is on fire is when he pees, and then Diversified Fab Jason said when he sits to pee.
I think it's true. I think it is. Yeah. Chase, how
I
did
do get my doctor's notes.
So Chase, how many pills do you have to take to get rid of that pee?
This is all great and dandy, Justin, but I got a live one. Jackson, what's going on, brother?
Did you
Where
say
are
that was
you
the
at?
last one?
Yeah.
What are you driving,
Twice?
and what's your question? I don't know when my last live is today, but I'm going to keep them going.
Dealing here, man. I'm in Australia. So I'm driving currently 7 rounds. So I got
Dude, we got one from Australia.
Yeah?
Yes, we got a live one.
Look at his car, Steve.
testing hard in McMill.
Oh, that's rad.
Testing hard. So my question for you guys is, with our two-seater short course car, we race at motocross tracks, jumps, that sort of stuff. And we're trying to get it to set up to handle like a Pro 4 is kind of our goal. What we're considering doing is we want to shorten the shocks to try and reduce travel, to reduce body roll. Now, I don't know if that's something you guys do. Seems like something you guys do because I know watching the short course stuff, RJ and stuff like that definitely have shortened shocks. How much can we shorten that?
So, really good question. We've done a lot of Lucas Oil setups, and you're going to shorten them quite a bit. Now, I'm going to ask Steve if you remember.
Yep.
But I'm pretty sure that we're throwing a 2-inch extension limiter inside the shock, both front and rear.
Correct.
So 2 inches is what we're taking out of that system. We're not going to be able to help you because it's too expensive to mail shocks back and forth from Australia. We've been there and done that. But you're going to have to do it yourself or find somebody there that can. But it's actually very simple. You're just going to put an aluminum spacer underneath the piston and above the seal head. That's going to stop the extension of the shock. When you do a 2-inch limiter, then you're going to find yourself using a shorter spring package. So you might use something like a 6-inch over an 8-inch spring or a 6 over a 10, because otherwise you go too tall and you're not going to be able to keep the car as low as you need it. Typical ride heights for short course are going to be 9 to 10 inches off the ground with a short tire, like 26s, 27-inch tire are usually better for acceleration, gearing, and handling in short course. So 9 to 10 inches of ride height, 2-inch shock extension limiters, and adjust your spring package accordingly. You're gonna go with a lot more spring too. So even though your car probably weighs 1,300 or 1,400 pounds, once you take everything off of it for short course, then you're probably still gonna end up running like 400 or 500 pound lower springs as far as rates are concerned. And maybe use the upper as just ride height only, like 150 to 200 pounder. That typically is what works in short course. And I'm not even talking about valving, but that's a great start.
And then sway bar-wise, what do you suggest?
A lot, more than stock. It also depends on how much spring you throw at it. So if you're doing like a 400 pound lower spring all the way around, for instance, you might want a lot more sway bar on that car to stop some body roll. But if you run a 550 pound lower, then you can run a little less sway bar. So that's a little bit of tuning there, but you're gonna want more than a stock bar, I guarantee it. You're gonna want one that's gonna be adjustable too. So like Sumner's Brothers, Lone Star, we make bar kits for that too that are adjustable, but you're gonna want more bar.
Cool, man. Thanks, guys.
You got it, man. Hey,
Hey,
can
man.
can Steve do his impression again
we
without
got
you
some shirts.
getting offended?
That's pretty good.
We got some shirts for you, so make sure you send us your name and address. We'll send you some shirts in shirt size.
Hey, can you do
my
impression?
accent?
Yeah, can you do ours?
Your accent, just talk slower.
That's all it is.
Slower.
What he's saying is you're dumb.
Oi. Yeah. All right.
Cheers. Right on, man. We're gonna have another beer and try and get pissed.
Hey, man, keep up the good work in that garage, man. That is one badass lair you got going on. You're like the Australian Batman.
Clark Kent.
Keep up.
Have a good one.
Hey, Justin, can I just say real quick how rad that is that someone from Australia is tuning into our live feed?
And they did
That
because
is-
of
that
you,
is-
bro. They caught your impression.
Thank
It
you
went
guys so
around the world already. How awesome it was, and they're tuning in.
Sign me, guys. Sign me.
If you guys have no more questions, then we're gonna go.
Yeah.
All right. Since we're out of here, I'm gonna let Steve talk us out because he's way better at it than me.
Oh, you're goddamn right. So, if you guys want to call into the shop, call in at 623-217-4959 or visit the website shocktherapist.com.